So please subscribe, like, and share. And I hope this was very helpful for someone who wanted to change the brake pads in the 2017 Titan and up truck. Say, this took every breath out of me. I feel every muscle working so hard. Tell you. So I think next time, probably have to take it to the shop and get that job complete, because this was quite a big job. But thank God I was able to complete it. Everything is back to normal. Everything is good. I'm ready to take my baby on the road. So thank you, bless you, and I hope you enjoy this video. Please leave any comments. Let me know how I did. 65,000 miles on my 2017 Titan. 2017 Titan XD. Getting ready to replace my brake pads. So 65,000 miles on it. So this is gonna be the first brake job. Okay. So one of the first thing you want to do, once you take off your tires before you start to working your brakes, you want to come up here and loosen the cap on the brake reservoir. Usually a lot of people put it down, but I'm just going to rest it on there. I don't want to lose this cap at all. So with it being loose, once I compress the pistons, the hair will be able to come out and I will have no problem. So you want to make sure that you loosen your brake cap. Okay, let's leave it close by so it doesn't fall down, get trapped anywhere. So yeah, all 4 brake pads will be replaced. So okay, just want to show you some of my go-to tools that I'll be using for this job today. So okay, breaker bar, a lug nut tool, which I'm going to need to get a bigger one, a little impact drill. Once I loosen everything, I will use that to take bolts out, the lugs off. Okay, impact drill. Nissan original brake pads we're using. Here I bought me 2 sets of Pro Lift jack stands. Okay, got my good old 3-ton jack stand. Been having this for a while. I'm try to see if I can get a little bigger one because it works fine. Okay, little ear compressor. So that's my go-to tools here. I love these stands. I got these safety bar that you slide in here. Okay. See that? So it's not coming down. Feel much safer about those. So safety is number 1. Anything you're doing. Okay. So these are my go-to tools, and this complete the job. Didn't have to use anything else. Here, changing the brakes in my 2017 Titan XD. First brake change. So there, 65,000 miles. I'm going to show you. You see, you just got the money word out of it. So Yeah, here's the new ones that I'm putting on, originally from the dealer. So yeah, I did the front yesterday. Rain came down and got me, so now I'm doing the rear today. 4-wheel disc. Just see. So let's say the front completed yesterday. So today finish up the rear. All 4-wheel disc. Got me some Pro Lift 6-ton jack stand. I bought me 2 sets of 2, so I got 4. So safety first. Got my air compressor. Gets the job done. Still got to put a little muscle grease on it. So, all right, I'm gonna put this back together. So here, got the new pads on. Put a little bit of brake lube on the caliper. So these here, okay, genuine brake pads from Nissan. So all right, just a quick note. If for anyone who are attempting to do a brake job in the vehicle, whether it's a car or a truck, it is a messy job. If it's the first time you're doing it, you're not sure what you're doing, take your time, don't rush it. Most of all, you never want to disconnect the brake line, okay? You're just changing the pads, so only thing you're taking off is this piece of the caliper, okay? So here in mine, okay, I'm gonna show you right quick. Okay, 2 bolt that's inside the caliper. It's the Allen key. So I have mine on the socket. I'm gonna show you what number it is. So all I do is a little rubber seal that goes back over here when I finish tightening it up. So once I put those and tighten these in, and also you don't want to use any power tool when you assemble this back together. Use your hand and get it tightened, okay? You don't want to cross thread that bolt, because then you're going to have major problem, especially if you're doing it yourself. So here, using my number 10. It's a number 10. These I bought from Arbor Freight, Pittsburgh socket set, Allen key. So it works great. Taking my time and tighten it, and I use my breaker bar and give it a nice snug just to make sure. Like I say, don't want to cross thread it or break it off in there. All right, so got everything back together on this side. Okay. So I'm gonna put on my wheel now. Let's start on the other side. So yeah. There go my cat Jerry, always hanging out with me. The hardest part for me right now is putting these tires back on. You know, doing a job like this by yourself, So you can see these are some pretty fat tires, 20-inch 33. So I'm gonna have to muscle it up right now and get it on. So right now I got the tires on. This is not something I like to do, putting my feet underneath the truck, but I still got my jack stand and a 3-ton jack lift. So I'm just getting them snug, and then I'm gonna go to the other side. Like I say, make sure you put these on with your hand. Don't use a power tool. That's why a lot of time I try to do things myself, unless I have a reputable shop that I like to use and work good with the guys. I'll tell them, hey, you know, make sure you start these with your hand first before start torquing them down. So I've had bad luck in the past where I had to change like 3 or 4 studs because they were cross threaded and I couldn't get them off. I end up having to break them off. So this is what I do. I leave my jack in there just to make sure nothing doesn't slip. Got my 2 stand. So that side is finished. Started on this side now. Some pry these apart. It look like it's want to rain, so I have to hustle up. Something else I want to point out. So when you're removing the bolts, pay close attention to what goes where. As you can see, this is the top one. See, it has like a black rubber on it. So here, putting it right here, that's my top and that's my bottom. Okay, so that way I know where what goes, and I want to put it back exactly the way I'm taking it apart. So, alright, so okay. So with these brake pads, I notice got some nice big pins right here holding down the plate. So when I'm trying to take the caliper off, it's catching on these from the other side, from the back side. So got a nice big flat screwdriver or pry bar, small pry bar. I'm gonna put it in here and push against the brake pad to kind of depress the caliper, so that way I can get it off. So that's the only thing that has been giving me a little issue, but it's not really a big issue. So just do it that way and you get it off. Don't want to be hammering on it because you might break something. So that's just what I do. Okay, so now that I got it off, so one of the first thing I also do is get me a nice piece of wire. This is from an old like 5-gallon bucket. It's nice and strong. Put it in the hole right there. Got it just to hold the weight off the caliper. Don't want this thing falling off, breaking the brake line, because then that would be a major problem. So, all right, so you can see, yep, we're pretty done. Yep. See, 65,000 miles, 2017. Titan XD. First brake job. Yeah. Got a lot of friends that tell me, oh, I'll just take off the guide and let it go down to the metal, but I'm not doing that. Yeah. I already hear some squealing, so it's time for it to come off. Clean it up a little bit. Next thing I want to mention is that whenever you're going to depress your pistons, always use the old brake pad that you take out. Don't use your new one, so because you're not putting these back on. So if you damage them, no big deal. here using my C clamps. So I'm gonna be doing one at a time, just depressing it. So right here, just want to pinpoint out, as you're depressing the pistons, this rubber seal right here is filled with hair. So you want to slowly depress it and try to push it down, trying to get some of the hair out, you know. So if it's not coming out, I have here a pick. You don't want to punch a hole in this gasket. So what I do, I just go right next to the piston and just gently lift it up and then release the hair that's in there and let it depress as I depress the piston. So be very gentle with this, okay? I had a little small brush that I was using to depress, but I don't know where I put it right now. So I'm just using something that's not sharp. You know, this is a pen cap. As I'm depressing, I'm just gently pushing it in. And then, like I say, once it's get all the way down and I still have more here, I will use this pick and just gently release this up. So now, as you see, everything is completely compressed in. So I'm going to go check my brake fluid reservoir to see, make sure it's not overflowing. Okay. So, so I already removed most of the fluid already. So as you can see, it's just a little bit over the max. So my cap is loose. Okay, because you need it to make sure that's loose. So, all right, so, okay. So now you can see the pistons, they're all nicely compressed in. And the rubber seal, okay, you don't want these seals to be sticking out when you go back to install it, because you don't want to puncture these seals, okay? They're there for a reason, okay? All right. So clean it up with a brake cleaner. Then I'm gonna install the new pads. So just spray it down, brake cleaner, just wiping it down. Also, I want to point out, see here, okay, the rubber sealer fell off. Let's see, it's up top. So when you're putting these back on, when you take your time, be careful and make sure it's there. So it fell off, so I'm gonna put it back on. Very important that you pay attention and make sure you install it back exactly the way you pull it apart. All right, so something I want to point out right quick. Should have did from the beginning. So see, has the guide on it. So this one goes in the back. This one gonna be in the front. So all right, so new pads on. And go ahead and put them back together. Just want to point out one of the nice thing about using original parts in your vehicle, especially with these brake pads. These come with this backing plate already mounted onto the pads. A lot of time you buy aftermarket, it doesn't have that backing plate. You might have to take off from your original if it's the first time you're doing the brake and install that backing plate. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to use the original, you know, from the dealer. So got everything back on together. Okay, Started with my hands, so now I gotta lay down underneath here. Okay, and tighten it as much as I can with my hand before I use my socket or my breaker bar. That way, this way I guarantee it's in all the way. You can see this one up top, just barely got it in. So, all right. It's a little hard, so I'm going to use my socket and tighten it down. So here, I tighten my bolts as much as I can with my hand. Now I'm using my breaker bar, a small breaker bar, okay, with a small extension, just to give me the leverage to hold it. Just a little bit of elbow grease. I don't want to overdo it, but I just want to make sure that this is not going to come apart. So you just want to tighten it as snug as you can. Not using any hair tool because I don't want to strip or break these bolts. All right, so everything's tightened down. This is the last, so I'm gonna install, see, these rubber gasket came out of here. I'm making sure I put them back because I want to make sure I keep water from getting in there. Okay, corroding. So that these are not hard to take out next time I try to do it. So yeah, it's not an easy task, but I'm enjoying doing it myself because I know everything that came off is going back on. So I'm gonna put these together and put my wheel on and give it a little test drive. Okay, so here, got my bubbles and back installed. You can see. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna check these, make sure they seal, because these is to prevent water from getting them. I'm messing with that bolt. So, oh yeah. Okay. So. Okay, so now I'm putting on back my tires. Like I say, one thing I don't like to do is to put my foot underneath the tires, but I have no choice. So I'm just showing you, since I'm by myself, just put my knee, just have rest of the tires on my legs and gently lift them up. That way I'm able to put on my starting lug nuts. So now that I have that, now I can take my legs out and feel a little bit more safer. So I'm gonna tighten this baby down. Okay, so got my wheels snugged down pretty good. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and jack it up and take out the jack stands. And I'm gonna leave the jack underneath there because I just want to take a little bit of the tension off the wheels. So I'm just gonna barely lower it down so that it touch the ground so I can tighten up the wheels. Something I want to point out with these ProLift stands, see, once I had it raised up to where I wanted to be, has a locking pin that I feel safer, where if in a jerk, this jack stand is not gonna drop and lower the vehicle on me. So I feel real safe about this jack stand compared to some of the videos I see with failure of jack stand. So it's one of the reasons why I took back the ones I had and bought this set. So, all right. Well, use my breaker bar to tighten them as much as I can. So here, I have a universal lug nut tool. I'm just using it to try to put a little bit more muscle with it. So all I'm doing is like putting my foot right here and hold on to the top, and I'm gonna use a little muscle just so I can hear a little last minute crank and make sure these are on there properly. So I think I'm gonna have to get a bigger lug nut tool because it's a lot small for this truck. See here, the rear is completed, front is completed, all four brand new brakes. So all four, I'm gonna double check on everything, make sure everything has been installed. You know, all four brakes. So all right, so right now I'm checking my reservoir. As you can see, it's just a little bit above the max line, so I'm not going to take any more out just yet. I'm going to wait till after I drive it, and if it's too high, then I will take some out. So I'm going to secure my cap. Let's make sure that's done. Okay. Here, just want to show you right quick, just like anything else, it never fails. As I'm just about to complete the job, my adapter broke. Okay, I was using it with my breaker bar to tighten up the lugs, and it just snapped. So let's see, this is my half-inch to 3/8 adapter right there. Here, like I said, my brake job is all completed. I just want to showcase all the tools and everything that I used to complete this task today. Changing my brakes pads on my 2017 Nissan Titan XD for the first time. So hope this can be helpful to someone. So here, you know, some of the must tools I think you need. These are 3 tons Pro Lift jack stands, okay, with the safety. Okay, make sure that these doesn't fall down. I have a little small compressor which I use as well. My 3-ton jack stand. I have here my impact drill, just a flathead. Okay, I have a 1/2-inch and a 3/8 socket. These is a must. Okay, these picks, very helpful. Okay, you'll see in the video. My adapter, 1/2-inch to 3/8 broke. And just as I finished, was using a breaker bar to tighten down the lug nuts. So I have my impact drill, which I use to help me after I loosen everything. Okay, my lug nut. Here I have 2 different size breaker bar. Just got a tape measure just to show you the length, which is a must. You will need some breaker bar. Okay, some knee pads. Okay, this here is an empty bottle I had to use to get out some of the brake fluid. So inside here, that's the brake fluid. So usually I have a syringe, and I couldn't find a syringe. So what I did, I just unscrew this right quick. So what I did, I took, okay, the tube and I stick it into the brake fluid reservoir. Then I put the tip here, and as I squeeze, it suck out all the excessive brake fluid. So this worked out well for me today. So I had to think quick about that and make it happen. Okay. Also, don't forget to get you a good piece of wire, okay, because you want to make sure you hold up the caliper once you take it off. You don't want to let that fall down and break your brake fluid line. Then it'll be a major problem. Okay, this It's just an old brush. Okay, what I use this for, I use this to help push in the rubber around the pistons on the caliper. You know, it's a nice little round tip, you know. And like I said, I use the pick. You know, if I couldn't get the hair out, just gently lift up, you know, right next to the piston and get the hair out. So that's why I use those picks. Okay, this one, see, it has a round end. I use that to push in the rubber that's on the caliper for the bolt. So I use the back end here to help seal that in. Okay, so this is my Allen socket number 10. That's what I use to get out the bolts from the caliper. Okay, so these are the things I use. And don't forget your C-clamp. That's a must. Okay, here you can see original brake pads. These are some of the old pads that came out. Okay, so you can see, yep, it's time to change. So those are my go-to items. So it's a quick walk around. Everything is done. And it looks like it's gonna rain today, so I'm not gonna wash it and detail it, but everything is done. So yeah, 2017 Titan XD. This is gas, not diesel. A lot of people here don't think it's a diesel. This is all gas.